prophets these days, okay? Now we have the gift from God that is a little p prophet, which means we speak from the word of God. There's a difference. I'd be really careful later if anybody ascribes to themselves this kind of title, amen? Oh, you don't even know, okay? You're like, really? Really? We're gonna pick it up in 1 Kings chapter 17, starts out this way. This makes me laugh so much. Elijah, the Tishbite from Tishbe, because that's where Tishbites are from. I don't know, why would you say that? But he did. Now Elijah, the Tishbite from Tishbe in Gilead, said to Ahab, okay, so who are we talking about here? Who is Elijah? This is the first time the Bible ever mentions Elijah, and Elijah is gonna come up for the first time in 1 Kings 17, and he's mentioned all the way through virtually into the New Testament. He's a really big deal. He is a prophet of God, but he just kind of comes walking out of nowhere from this little tiny nowhere town. Nobody knew anything about Tishbe. It was like Dillon or Palatka, okay? There's just nobody there. And he just shows up. And in fact, in the New Testament, he's compared to John the Baptist. John the Baptist comes in the spirit of Elijah. And we know some stuff about John the Baptist. We know he yells a lot. We know he's got a big beard. We know he wears camel hair. Not like he saw the camel, killed it, ate it, and then wore it. That's the kind of camel he's wearing. He eats bugs, locusts, all right? He lived on the land. This means that Elijah just kind of comes walking out of the woods, and a lot of people would think, this man might be crazy. But in actuality, what's happening is he's stepping into crazy times. And sometimes in crazy times, you need a man of God that will stand up to evil. You'll stand up to the crazy. A man that cares more about what God thinks than what people thinks. Later, he's going to be called a troubler. But ultimately, what he is a man of God. Now, what's going to be crazy is I'm about to describe to you what was happening during this time. And if you fall asleep for just a second, you're going to be thinking I'm talking about the last few years of our own country. And this man walks into crazy, and he puts his finger in the chest of the king, and he's saying, I'm here to speak on behalf of God. He wasn't there to be popular. He didn't care how many people liked him. He didn't care if his videos went viral. He wasn't there to get a blue check. He was simply there to be obedient to God. I have one verse on my desk, and it is Galatians 1:10. I look at it every week before I finish up my sermon and walk out here, and before I walk out, it says this, Galatians 1:10, for am I now seeking the approval of man or of God, or am I trying to please man? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ. So there may be some things that offend you. Neat. Ready? So he goes to talk to Ahab. Ahab is the king. Ahab's no bueno. Don't name your kid Ahab. If you're pregnant with a boy, skip Ahab. It's not a good name. And it goes really, really bad. But it doesn't start with Ahab. It starts all the way back in 1 Kings chapter 11. In 1 Kings chapter 11, King Solomon, the son of David, starts out good. He's doing great, writes Bible verses and stuff. And then he takes his eye off the Lord, puts it on some chicks, and it goes real bad. You ever know a guy like that? Solomon. 11:1 says, now the king of Solomon loved many foreign women along with a daughter of Pharaoh. And the reason God said don't love these women is because they love the wrong gods. That was the problem. So when you go down a little bit to the end of verse 2, it says Solomon clung to these in love. He had 700 wives who were princesses and 300 concubines. Fellas, this man's an idiot. Or an absolute idiot. And his wives turned away his heart. Get down to verse 6 and it says, so Solomon did what was evil in the sight of the Lord and did not wholly follow the Lord. And then if you keep reading for the next few chapters, you've got 5 generations of evil kings. So sometimes you're going to see God get angry and pour out his wrath on the nation of Israel. And people are like, why is God so mean and mad? Oh my goodness, how gracious is he? That for 5 generations, remember last week, he's slow to anger. He's long of nose towards the people who do everything to make him angry. I mean, listen, bosses, anybody a CEO in the house? Would you give your employees 5 generations to get it right? I don't think so. God does. And then what we're going to see here is that Ahab is a weak and passive man. He's going to marry an overbearing woman that worships demons, And instead of standing up and acting like a man, he lays down and acts like a doormat. That's what he's gonna do. It's not gonna go good. And in fact, I heard one pastor say it this way: it's just the same demons, new days. By the time you get to 1 Kings 16, which precedes 1 Kings 17, so a little bit of background, here's the description of King Ahab. Beginning in verse 29, in the 38th year of Asa, king of Judah, Ahab, the son of Omri, began to reign over Israel, and Ahab, the son of Omri, reigned over Israel in Samaria 22 years. God is a patient God. He gives him 22 years to tighten up. And Ahab, the son of Omri, did evil in the sight of the Lord, more than all who were before him. This is the worst king in all of Israel. And as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, he took for his wife Jezebel. If you're looking for girl names, don't go Jezebel. This is not a good name. She's the daughter of Ithbaal, king of the Sidonians, and went and served Baal, that's a false god, and worshiped him. And he, King Ahab, erected an altar for Baal in the house of Baal, which he built in Samaria, and Ahab made an Asherah. That's a big phallic symbol, that's what that is, that they would worship around. And Ahab did more to provoke the Lord, the God of Israel, to anger than all the kings of Israel who were before him. This is not good, man. So he marries this evil woman. By the way, she shows up all the way to the end of the Bible. In the book of Revelation, Jesus talks to this church called the church at Thyatira, and he goes, here's your problem. You put up with the spirit of Jezebel. Now, this can't be the same Jezebel which got a birthday cake with 3,000 candles on it. That means the same spirit of sexual immorality, sexual confusion, weak men, and her moving in to take over. This is what was happening. And one of the questions, as I asked, that the Bible is silent on is, so where are the believers? Like, at what point do the believers in God, the believers in Yahweh, the people that read the Torah, that made sacrifice to God, where are they? They're just silent. They're just going with the flow. They see some shady stuff happen for their leaders, but you know what they do? They don't necessarily start out doing anything wrong like Adam. They just don't do anything at all. They want to do something, but they got a boat. And they're lulled to sleep by the comforts of the nation of Israel at that part, so they don't do anything. Here's what they were. They were tolerant. Jot this down. It's going to hurt your feelings a little bit. Tolerance is not a biblical value. Love is. If you tolerate a wolf, you're not a shepherd, you're a hireling. And you don't love sheep, you love you. That's what happens. If you tolerate sin, God hates sin, and sin is such a big deal that Jesus, the Son of God, had to come and give his life on a cross to forgive sinners like me and you. This is not something that we tolerate. Tolerance is not a biblical value. I have a possum that lives in the ditch in my backyard. As long as he doesn't mess with my house, I tolerate him. We are called to love, not tolerate. We love people. We do not tolerate sin. Some of you all have heard this. A long time ago I told you this. I was hunting in Georgia one time. I was bow hunting, sitting up there in the tree. And right when it gets gray light, those of you hunters, you know, everything looks like a deer. You're like, oh no, it's just a bush. What is that? Oh, is that? Oh, it's the same bush. That's what happens for like 30 minutes. And then this owl flies under me. Oh. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's neat. And then I kind of forgot for a second. And then all of a sudden I was reminded, because that owl attacked the back of my head. I don't mean like graze me on the way by. It wasn't like permission to buzz the tower, negative Ghost Rider. That thing smacked me right in the back of the head, and its claws are trying to grab my neck meat because it looks like a pack of hot dogs back there, you understand? And the wings are about this long, and those things are going shoo in my face. And I said, remember last week, I said, nothing slips. Out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. Well, I still got a potty heart because something said it came out of my mouth that the elders would have a quick meeting if I said it right now. And then that joker landed about 6 feet away from me. And I got a bow and arrow. And that joker's got his leg up and he's doing that little owl thing. And he's thinking, what in the heck just happened? I thought I had me a squirrel by the neck and it's still there. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, this thing's gonna attack me in the face. Now, do you think in that moment I tolerated it? Like, well, that's just what owls do. Negative. That thing is trying to get me. And so my Bible says his divine power has given us everything we need for life and godliness. And that day, the Lord gave me a Glock 45. And I'm not gonna tell you the rest of it. Allegedly, what may or may not have happened, I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one. Okay. Well, Ahab's tolerating Jezebel. You know what Jezebel means? Unhitched and devoted to Baal. Her name literally, she gets married to Ahab, and her name means, I am not connected to you, my allegiance is to this demonic